You have to know what you are, your own abilities. You have to be willing to bet on yourself, know your worth, know your value. So it's the first place people start. And if you
Okay.
have that foundation, you truly believe in yourself, you've looked at what you've accomplished in your life, you've given yourself credit for it, then you can really start to show up as a leader.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Medeiros.
And I'm Colleen Hungerford, and this is We're Doing This Right, right? A podcast for the whole woman, mind, body, soul, and business.
It's humor infused, as real as it gets, inspiring, and you'll walk away with real usable tools for life and business.
If you love what you're hearing, please share with a friend, subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and rate and review whenever you listen.
So find your earbuds, lace up your walking shoes, or cozy up with a beverage of your choice. It's time to dig in.
We walk around getting stuck, feeling the way that we feel. Oh, I feel tired today, so this is what it is. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. It's just been a bad day. Nothing's going my way. And you pretty much just create your whole day from that mindset. So just
And
understanding that tweak is huge.
those people are exhausting. Like I work with some of those people who are like that, right? So like not only do it for yourself, but like do it for everybody else that has to work with you because it is
Take one for the
exhausting.
team.
And sometimes take one for the team and like write it down because it is, I
Yeah.
mean, like it is exhausting. And I bet it's exhausting to feel that way all the time,
For
right? Like
sure.
if you're just
Yeah.
like carrying that around and you can't make those decisions to change or don't know how to facilitate that change. Okay, that
A
is
lot of
so
people
great. So
don't.
oh my God. Okay, so that's why they need to buy your journal immediately. Everybody go buy it if you don't
Well,
have one. But what else is in the journal? Because I haven't seen it. I want to know.
yes, yeah. So the rest of the journal, it takes you through prompts. You go through intentions. What do you want from the day? I mean, look, everybody wants something from their day. Most people just don't ever think about it. This is to get you
Yeah.
out of that hamster wheel mentality, right? You wouldn't just pull up at the drive-through of Starbucks and take what they give you. You place an order. So the same concept here. Like, what do you want to happen in your day? Do you want to feel joy? Do you want to connect with an old friend? Do you want to prospect for your business? Do you want to get some exercise in? Whatever you want, it's setting intentions. And that also combats that wandering mind. If you set an intention for
Mm-hmm.
something, then that part of your brain knows how to focus in and take care of it. Goes through affirmations, which we know changes our self image. When we can change our self image, we change our future. So the
Okay.
affirmations are the I am statements that you want to see yourself in. It takes you through gratitude, which is a cognitive reframing, so that amygdala in your brain that gets fear and worry a lot of the times, when you step into gratitude, you lower your cortisol levels, you calm that amygdala so
Ah,
you can get to a place of more joy and peace. Prayer is in there. Asking for what you want is also part of the reticular activating system. So you're telling your brain, hey, this is what I want. And guess what? Your brain makes it happen for you. It sets you up to succeed. So many people don't know that. If you ask, like, this is what I'd like to happen today, this is what I'm praying for, that reticular activating system filters out through all of this stuff and it's like, okay, well, this isn't important then, this isn't important, this is associated with what you
right.
want. So it actually helps. And then it goes into visualization, and then you've got a recap there too. So it's a super powerful 15-minute way to build a relationship with yourself that you can trust and to control your mindset. And honestly, if we had to shrink this whole thing down to say what's the most important thing for someone to do, know yourself and have a relationship that you trust and control your mind. You can do
Mm-hmm.
anything after that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of the saying, the grass is green where you water it. And if you take the time, 15 minutes every day to focus on and where you're going to water, what are you going to water today?
Mm-hmm.
And get
Yeah.
to choose that rather than wake up and be reactive to whatever it is that's thrown your way. You know, like I talked about last night, two kids were in my bed by 2 a.m. and I had to move. And like this morning, I actively took a minute. Like my alarm went off at 5:55, like it does every morning. And I'm like, I'm still very tired. And I think I will be best served to stay in bed for another hour rather than get up and do my first hour that I like to do without the kids up. And like I made that choice and I walked into the rest of my day with energy because I told
Yeah.
myself that an extra hour of sleep was going to be what I needed. And I'm great. Let's go. I told myself what I wanted from my day. And I gave myself
Yeah.
the room to have it as well and didn't beat myself up that I didn't do my morning routine. I'm trying to do this journaling. I'm reading that book of alchemy right now. Have you heard of it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to do the just journal prompts most every day, but I have grace and permission for myself that like I know myself and I know what I needed and I gave myself it.
That's
Thanks to
huge.
people
And that
like
comes from
Angie who have
self-trust.
who have taught me those things that I should trust myself. No one knows me better than
Yes.
me.
Right. And that's huge because was there a point in your life at one time, Cheryl, where it would be like, oh my gosh, should I not? And then if you did, maybe then it fell off for like a week later. Like there was a total lack of self-trust. Not intentionally, but you just didn't have that same relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'd say like in my
That's
20s,
so
I
good.
moved through that and I had to do a tremendous amount of work, both in therapy and like with self-reflection and all of those things because yeah, I was lost. I
Right.
as a young woman, like high school, I was so confident. I was the one that spoke up in class. I never let anybody like make me feel like I needed to be quiet. And then I did hit a point in life where I started to believe the doubt that the world wanted me to have in myself.
Mm.
And then I've had to grow through that and get to a place where I trust me and I don't have to do it the way the world wants me to do it because I get to make my own rules. What do we say, Colleen? There are no rules. Like we
There's no
make the
rules.
fucking rules. There are no
There's no
rules
rules.
and
Yeah.
nobody knows what they're doing. The
Nobody knows
people
what
that
they're
are
doing.
succeeding are the people that are getting up and doing the self-reflection and paving the make your own road. Where do you want to go? Make your own road, make your own guardrails that you need. You don't need to let the world tell you what those should be.
And I guess what I want
So
to say
true.
about the nobody knows what they're doing is I say that all the time. And I guess the real meaning behind that is there isn't somebody out there who already had the path so clearly paved for them that they knew what they were doing the moment they stepped into it, right? Everybody takes the first step into whatever they're doing, parenting, entrepreneurship, coaching, whatever. Like you don't know exactly what you're doing when you start, right? But there is this made up idea somewhere somebody put out there that like, well, you know, he is a very successful coach. She obviously knows what she's doing all the time, which you do. But I'm sure there's some times where you're like, wow, I've never come across this. Or I need to figure out how best to help this person because this is new for me, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
you probably didn't know how to, you didn't have the path for writing the book as clear as day before you
Sure.
wrote it, right? And it's this idea that like, I think it gives people permission once you realize that nobody really knows what they're doing when they're doing until they do it, it gives you permission and it gives you understanding to just try, right? Like to
Yeah,
just get
for
out there
sure.
and do it and to try.
Even if someone knows what they're doing, I mean, listen, there's no two of us alike, right? We've got two things. One, from a genetic standpoint, there are trillions of combinations of people out there. And then if you add on the experiential kind of layer on top of it, even if you had
Right.
two genetically people who are very close together, they've lived and experienced different life. There's just no one way to do it. So even if you're like, wow, you're a great agent, you're a great coach, that's fine, but you still have to carve your own path. Your gifts are different, your vision is different, like everything about you, your personality. So you can't just follow somebody else's roadmap. I'm a big, big believer in that. And you can take some tactics and some knowledge, but you have to have your own person in there, your own authenticity, gifts, personality, in order for you to ever be at that high level performance and joy in your life.
And how do you coach to that? Like, I always find this is so interesting
Yeah.
for coaches. And, like I'm a team lead, so I have team members now, and I'm trying to be the best team lead. But like everybody's so different. I have 3 kids. Everyone's so different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you coach to that? Like, you have many clients, right? And none of them are
Yeah.
the same. I'm sure some of them run into similar things. But as a coach, like, I would love to know how that's something. How do you tackle that? Like, how do you figure out how to help that person?
There's several different layers, but I will tell you, authenticity wise, it's figuring out who the person is. And that sounds kind of silly, but there's really work to be done there, because oftentimes we are so attached to external noise that we show up in the way that the world wants us to. So we're not
Yeah.
really showing up as who we are. So doing that internal work and understanding what is your personality type is why I do the Enneagram. What are your Clifton strengths is one of my favorite assessments to understand, like,
We love
what
the
are
Clifton
your
strengths.
gifts, right? So you start to understand that, and then you look at your past and you go, well, what have I lived through? What have I learned? What do I know? Like, how do I take that layer with my personality and my strengths that makes me this unique person? And so you start to see that. And then you start to look at the obstacles like, well, what gets in the way of you showing up like that every single day? Where is the fear? Where is, the judgment? Anything like that, breaking through that with your self-confidence, with your self-worth, with realizing that what you want is greater than what somebody else may think of you. And that's the big shift, right? We often are like, oh, I'm worried about what they're going to say, what they're going to think, if I get rejected, failure. But that is so small in comparison to what you're striving for, whether it's your peace and joy, whether it's your financial freedom, your time freedom. When we put those side by side, nobody chooses what somebody thinks instead of what they want in their life, right? So we got to really put it into perspective like that. And also know that like when you start showing up like that, it feels so darn good, right? I mean, it is just like, it's easy. And there, God, I mean, who wants to go back to the resistance, to the overthinking, the overanalyzing, the worrying? So it's a process, it's a process I do with clients over a long-term basis. But Morning Mindset Journal does that too, right? Just tuning into yourself every day. You start to learn, well, who am I? How do I want to show up? And slowly but surely, if you are creating that relationship with yourself, you will care more about yourself and less about what other people think. And that's really that window where you get to start showing up authentically.
So our theme and our focus for the month of August, which is when this is going to come out, is leading with confidence and being a leader. And I see one of the things that you are confident about, or not confident, excuse me, I'm blending my words, but passionate about is increasing people's capacity to lead and scale. Can you talk any about that and mindset on it and tools that you use?
I mean, it starts with confidence. You said confidence, ironically, right? But it really starts with that. Like, you have to know what you are, your own abilities. You have to be willing to bet on yourself, know your worth, know your value. So it's the first place people start. And if you have that foundation, you truly believe in yourself, you've looked at what you've accomplished in your life, you've given yourself credit for it, then you can really start to show up as a leader. Because when you lead, you have to take the focus kind of off of you and put it on your people. Like Colleen just said, well, how do you do that? How do you get people to see their gifts? And you almost have to have no space for yourself in a good way, right? Like, you are now holding space for them. What do they want? And you become the best advice I give anyone who wants to lead is be the most curious person you can be. Curiosity is what I believe to be one of the biggest superpowers for leaders. And we can talk about resilience and we can talk about accountability and all these other pieces. But if you are curious, you will open up the mind of your people. And when your people's minds are opened up, they see what they need to see. But if you are telling, if you are directing, they don't see it.
I downloaded this book a long time ago. Somebody told me to read it, and I never did. But I just started reading Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last. Have you read that book?
Yeah.
And I was reading it on the plane on the way home, and it is exactly because I have these new team members, and I'm like, God, I just want to be a good leader for them, right? And I want to help make them the best thems. It's become very clear to me I can't make them me. So how do I make them the best them, right? And everything I didn't read the whole book, but everything that he's talking about in that book so far is like is what you're talking about. And he made a very interesting differentiation between leading and managing. And like there's a quote in the book, and he's like, you can't manage your way out of a crisis. You have to lead your way out of a crisis. But all he talks about in the first two or three chapters is all about the people and like everything that you're saying, right? Like it has to be about the people. It has to be less about you. And like leaders eat last, and that comes from this idea of the Marines, whereas like the lowest ranking guys eat first, and women eat first, and then the captains and the general, whatever, they all eat last, because you have to make sure that the guys on the ground who are doing, in this case, like all the work, the physical work, are eating and they're ready to go and prepared and all of that. And it's so interesting to really start to lean into that And I think that's when you start to see the differentiation, like exactly what you're talking about. Like, who are the good leaders and what are they doing? And it is so not about, right? And I just like, that is wild, but also, again, so obvious.
Right.
Those are the things that.
The greatest leaders, it's like you don't even know what they're doing. You know what I mean? You just feel magically transformed by them, and you feel like they have held such great space for you and have just afforded you this opportunity to figure things out and to grow and to learn and evolve. And that's what it's really about. And people who manage are always telling you, right? Do it this way, fix it this way. It's a lot of telling, and you create a lot of task takers, right? Versus leading is you create people who feel confident in their own skin, who are open minded, who are creative, who can create possibilities and opportunities. And that's major for a team.
Yeah.
Cheryl, you were going to say something.
Yeah, sorry, Cheryl.
It's probably gone because I'm perimenopause, which, by the way, I don't know if anybody has seen this on Instagram. They're saying that perimenopause is now forever going to be cougar puberty. So I'm in cougar puberty right now, and my brain is. But I've been thinking, as you're talking about just the team and like giving confidence, it's like you need to anchor everybody with a common goal, and then give them the confidence and the autonomy to run and come as they are and be as they are. And I also think with the going back to the Clifton strengths is like helping everybody identify what their strengths are and then giving them room to run within that and not expecting them to operate high on their bottom five, but really giving them the permission to like, these are your strengths and this is where you're going to best support our team. So like, let's figure out how we can put you in roles and put you in positions where you can shine. And I think like in thinking about then your whole team is living in alignment, and then also encouraging them to define their own values. Like all the work we talked about earlier of us needing to do this for ourselves. To be a leader, you need to give them the space and the opportunity to them also do that work. And then you're going to have high achieving, high performing individuals on your team that aren't just like you, because Colleen, your special sauce is your special sauce and mine is mine.
Right.
And if you and I were on the same team trying to do the same thing, like it's going to disconnect. But like allowing you to come in and be you and you to come in and be you, and everybody just gets to show up and feel their best because they're confident. And one of the workshops we did, Angie, where we were talking about confidence, it was like, write down your proof. Look backwards and write down the things you're proud of that you've done. And then that is a really big confidence booster to be able to look at that list of like, wow. And again, it's the gap and the gain. It's all these different, like it's all said differently, but just writing down and owning like your success in the past and letting that fuel your confidence moving forward. And then giving your team that same tool and resource and time and space, like you said, holding space for them. Like the hour I spend each week with my new team members, that space is theirs. That meeting's not about me. I get to step back and not be a part of it. And I get to bring out their confidence and their strengths and give them the autonomy and define the path, or like, I guess the goalpost of where we're all working towards. And then, but it has to be collective. Like every time I'll hear my husband, he leads at work as well. When I start to hear a breakdown within his team, I'm like, have you recently set up your common goal or revisited what your common goal is with the group? Because I do feel like as a collective, you have to be going to the same place. Even he and I, when we're working on our budget or like we're spending money, however we're spending money, if we slow down and come back to like, okay, well, let's come back to what our common goal is for our family and what it is we're trying to achieve, then we can move forward with more clarity and confidence in the decisions we're making each day to get there. Which our new common goal is a boat, in case anybody's wondering. That's our new common goal.
But Angie, that's what you were talking about as far as like values, right? Like knowing what your values are first.
Well, and the boat thing came from taking our girls out with some friends on their boat one weekend, and just like the joy that brought everybody in the community and the family time, and the phones were put away and we were disconnected. Like we didn't even have cell service. And like that gift that gave our family, he and I both left there. We didn't even talk to each other separately, which is what was so funny. We never spoke about it. We just both left with like this feeling of that's where we need to go. And then a day or two later, he sends me a link to a boat. And I was like, oh my God, yes, I want a boat. How did you know? He's
So
like,
funny.
I just
I
left,
love it.
and we have a common goal and now we're aligned on it. And, there is side conversations around like, well, we could spend this much, but we need to do X, Y, Z. And these are also important to us. And then just kind of coming back and getting in alignment with the collective goal. So sorry. I'm just so excited
Wow.
about our new boat we're going to be getting soon, guys.
I love it. Well, and to kind of even take that a step further, right? It's your mission and your vision. And that's what any team needs, right? Your collective goal. But it's like, what is this team based on? What is the mission of this team? What is the vision of this team? And what are the team values? I tell any of my team leads, like, you better know that for your team before you bring anybody on, because they have to have similar values or you're going to have a clash. They can have different personality types, fine, but you guys have to be united in values or it's not going to work. And they have to want to kind of get on that same mission and vision for the team, or again, it's not going to work. And oftentimes, especially in real estate, I see people just throw people on their team because it's like they're a great forming agent or they've got good business or you guys like each other. But really, do you share the same mission, vision, and values? Because that's what's really going to create that momentum together, that shared momentum, whether it's the boat and the family time together on it, right?
Yeah.
It just has to be there.
So Angie, how does if somebody wants to work with you, first of all, I want to know who do you like? I always ask everybody this, like, who's your ideal client? Like, who are the people you love to work with when you're thinking about your marketing and you're attracting, like, who are the people that you want to work with? And then how do they start to work with you? How does that happen?
Absolutely. I love, love, love working with entrepreneurs, business owners, because it's a spider web of things that we get to dig into. My background is finance and business, so I love bringing that into the mix. When somebody's like, gosh, I'm not super fulfilled. I know I have more in me. I know the business could operate better. It's this beautiful combination of many different things we get to work on together. So that's always kind of my ideal client. And I work with them usually one-on-one. A lot of my other clients will come through usually like a group or a mastermind program where there's a common interest, a common goal on what we're trying to achieve, whether that's that confidence and that peace and joy in one group, or another group is really about impact, right? And scaling and revenue. So there's a couple different ways that people can work with me. And it's all on my website too.
Amazing. And do you only, you said work one-on-one. I was like, do you come in and work with, like, if you're working one-on-one with that person, would you then also come in and work with their team, or is that like a separate thing? Okay.
Yeah,
so cool.
Often just depending on what it is, I just, for example, have a financial advisor. He owns an investment firm and then went to his office and did a whole Enneagram thing, right, for 2 hours to really help them understand personalities, drive communication within the company, outside the company. So yes, that's part of why I love the entrepreneur and the business route too, because there's just more to kind of connect and bring them together that gets really fun.
What are your top 5 Clifton strengths? Do you know those off the top of your head?
Yeah, I want to know.
Absolutely.
Tell us.
Yes.
Oh, we love it.
Relator is my top one. Empathy, communication, learner, and individualization. Very relationship based.
Yes.
Yeah.
My number 1 was woo. I know activators in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Little influence and strategic.
I see it play out all day, every day. Like I am both this brain that's like connecting with people and making them feel seen, but then also like, okay, how are we moving the ball? How are we moving forward? What's next?
Yes.
What are we doing? What has to happen?
Colleen, I'm achiever, activator. God, what's the one that starts with an M? I was just going to try to pick it up. Let's see, where are my Clifton strengths? But they're all influencer based. All of mine are influencer.
Got executing in there, right? Like
no, I'm not an activator.
I think that's activator.
I'm an activator.
Yeah.
I'm an activator. Here, I'll bring him up. Activator is my number 1. Futuristic, arranger, maximizer was the one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
And then achiever. It's also very Enneagram 3 of me.
Yeah.
It all aligns.
It's all making sense.
But yeah, it all makes sense. But it's so cool. And we talk about these a lot because they really do. And I had my team do them, and it was really interesting. And I know we have to wrap up, but it was really interesting because I had some people on my team be like really self-conscious and almost like defensive about doing it. Like they felt like they were going to be judged based on these. I was like, no, man, like this is so helpful
It's your
for
gifts.
you
It's your sweet
'cause
spot.
yeah, this is what you're great at. Like, we're not going to look, we're not going to even focus about the whatever's on the bottom because, there's lots of things on the bottom for me that I'm like, oh, discipline is 32. Yikes. That's like, that doesn't make me feel good about myself, but I am good at all these other things. So let's lean into those things. And I had to kind of walk somebody through it and be like, he just wouldn't do it. He was like refusing almost to do it because he was so afraid of judgment. And I was like, no, like, it's cool, man. We're just here to help you. Like, this is all just
Well,
to help
Angie,
you know what you're good at.
speak to that.
Yeah.
As a leader, like, how are you recommending people use this tool, and how are you getting buy-in from the team, or how are you encouraging
Yeah.
people to get buy-in from their teams?
A lot of people get resistant to any assessment because they feel like it labels them and puts them in a box and it defines
Yep.
them. So it's
Yep.
really shifting over into going, this doesn't make anything true. It just creates awareness. You can take what fits for you. You can get rid of what doesn't. It's just this beautiful gift of awareness so that you can see things that you didn't see before. And it doesn't make anything true or false for you. And nobody has to like say, oh, this is who you are now. So usually when people get it from that perspective, they're like, oh, okay, so there's gray room here. There's gray area for me to accept or deny some of it. And I tell people that all the time when they take it. Like, does it resonate with you? If it doesn't, tell me. Like, let's pick apart the pieces that you really connect with and that you don't connect with, especially on the Enneagram, right? Because there's different levels of development. And you could pick one thing out about the achiever, the enthusiast, and be like, that's spot on. And then pick a different attribute and be like, oh, no, that's not me. I don't do that. Okay. Yeah. Because remember, trillions of genetic combinations and personalities here, right? So it's not going to be everything. It's not an all or none.
Right. And we're very easily, and it's not the same thing, but the analogy is you read your horoscope and some days you're like, yes, that is it. And then the next day you're like, nah, that's not it. But we're very easy to be like, we could throw that away. Right. But here for me, the Clifton strengths were so validating for me. Like, it was really so validating for me. It wasn't anything new, but it was like, oh man, yeah, that is what I'm strong. That is where my strengths are. And I should just lean into those and not worry about, making sure that I am checking every box on my, list every day and then feeling like a failure because I'm not doing it, because like, that's not what I'm good at. But what I'm good at is helping other people achieve what they're good at. I'm helping other situations grow and whatever. So I love that you love those two because they've made such an impact.
We geek out about
us.
those.
We're big
They're
nerds
so good
about that.
So good. I've literally had one person ever in all my years tell me that their Enneagram was not right for them. And then she proceeded to tell me that she took it in the way that she thought she wanted to be seen.
Right.
And I was like, what? Like, Enneagram is like the hardest assessment to rig like that. It's really odd. But yeah, literally, it's the most accurate, I believe, assessment to really see what's going on. And again, awareness is a gift. It's not judgment. It's a gift.
Oh, it's a gift. Well, you're such a gift to us. Thank you so much for being here and for chatting with us. Tell everybody where they can find you. Like, how do they get to your website, or can they follow you online somewhere?
Absolutely. And thank you all. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for holding the space. It's been really fun. AngieWisdom.com. Not a super common name. So if you look up Angie Wisdom, you will find me anywhere on all the different channels. And I would say, if you like this kind of information, follow me on Instagram. That's where I put most of it out, Angie Wisdom Life Coach, and sign up for updates on the website, because I just created a video this morning. My second book is coming out, The Impactful You, which is all about impact. So kind of in celebration of that, it's not till next year. This whole rest of the year will be me doing impact for other people. So a lot of free coaching, a lot of free books and journals. I'm going to do a hot seat coaching show. So there's so much good stuff going on. So if you like any of that, people should sign up so that they stay in the know, because we know how social media works. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you have been so impactful on me, and I wasn't sure if we were talking about your new book yet.
Yes.
I love that we're talking about it. So exciting.
Yeah. I'm writing, it's coming all together now, and kind of like second draft of it. So it's just as I'm living in it, it's just become what I want. I was impactful before, but now I'm like, oh, how can it be more impactful? Oh, this would be really fun. This would be really fun. Let's do this. So it's been a neat kind of combination to write it and double down living into it on a daily basis and putting stuff out there for people. So it's going to be a fun rest of the year.
The grass is green where you
That's so
water it,
awesome.
Angie, and you're watering all the impact right now. So it's growing and having the effect.
I love
Thank
it.
you so much for being here, and we'll see everybody
Yes.
next week.
Thanks,
Thank
ladies.
you.
That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on this journey of laughter, life, and growth.
And remember, you're not alone on this path to success. We're right here with you every step of the way.
Please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's conversation, we'd be thrilled if you would leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback means the world to us.
And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone who could use a good laugh and some practical insight into navigating the challenges and triumphs of our minds, body, soul, and business.
Remember, we're doing this right.